All right, so we got our 1959 Axeman Anderson out here on the truck, cleaning it up here. And since we shut it down and didn't really clean it out, we have a whole lot of crap in the swirl chamber. And I just use a bar that I sharpen the end on and get in here and scrape on it. As you can see, got this crust on it, which chips off. So yeah, doing this with the fan support in the way out here and everything would be pretty difficult, I think. So that's why it's best to clean it up when you shut it down. Alright, so here's an example of the crust that you get off of one of these things. So you can see it's rust on one side and ash on the other side. So really what it is the little bit of the boiler steel flaking off after it rusts, after the fly ash sits on it for a while. And we'll keep going at it till we get it all cleaned up. Alright, it's about as good as we're going to get it. You can see this boiler's eating away a little bit in here, but that won't really hurt anything. It has a ring welded in around the circumference here where the fan goes, and also there's a ring welded in the a half moon welded at the bottom of the fire chamber there. And also when we put this together like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, put a new cyclone cone in it because that was all rusted out. And okay, we'll move on to flushing the boiler out now. Alright, here we are flushing out the boiler. I filled it with hot water and some of this CLR stuff, and drove it around in the back of the truck for a little bit to shake it up, and I pulled the coil plate off and pulled that plug out, and that's the water we got out of it. It's some pretty nasty stuff, so we'll keep flushing until it gets clean, and then we'll pull this plug out of this side and do the same thing. So yeah, that should clean the innards out pretty good, I think. Still flushing on this side. It's cleaning up pretty good. But you can see there's still some black in there. There's a piece. We'll put a few more gallons through it and move to the other side. Alright, we got the truck moved over onto the other side now. It's filling up. See how black this comes out. Not near as bad as the other side. There's a little black in it, but not a lot. So the trick to doing this is you only use hot water. It's above freezing today. It's, I don't know, probably mid-40s here today. So once you get it all scraped and flushed and everything with hot water while it's still hot. You got to get it back inside and let it dry off. You don't want to do this with cold water because it will just make a mess of things. A couple of chunks in there. Must have got most of it with the other side. And all that black is what came out of the boiler. I mean, it was, it had a significant amount of gook in it. All right, get back to it. Well, there we go. Back in the garage. It's still warm to the touch. So it'll dry out pretty well. All right, I guess we'll clean it up a little more and get the rest of the stuff for it and kind of put it back together. Right now, yuck, the bed of the truck is full of yuck. Go wash that out. One other thing, this is the bucket of stuff that we retrieved from what we scraped out of the inside of the boiler. A lot of it, you know, just got washed away and blown away, so that's a sizable hunk there. Next thing we got to do here is, since we got the thing all wet and everything, got to get these grate rollers out and get them lubed up again. It's been a while since they got lubed, so they're a little sticky. Not real bad though. Go. One. I get it all around on the shaft, so on the edge here where it contacts the pad, and get a load fresh stuff up inside there, so it coats the whole shaft and everything. So it and then spin it around a bunch of times, you know, pull it in and out, spin it, and it should free up real nicely. So yeah, they're a little messy, but yeah, messy's better than stuck. This one's pretty tight. So what'll happen is, if one of these things stops, the grate has a lot of weight on it and it's kind of abrasive, so it'll act, once it goes back and forth a bunch of times, it'll actually wear a flat spot in here, and then this roller will never roll again because the grate is pushing down on the flat spot. So, and you know, that's not the end of the world. It'll still run, but it will put a whole lot more drag on the motor and the gearbox and the ashing assembly and everything. So should take them out once a year and do this. This is what you should do. First one of these I ever got. The grates didn't look like, I mean, the rollers didn't look like they had rolled in many, many, many years. They were flat spotted I think 2 of the rollers are actually flat spotted on 2 sides. But it still ran fine and everything. I didn't even notice it until, I mean, at the time it was my first one of these, so I didn't even know what these things were like. I didn't really look at them. I just thought they were something that the grate sat on. I found the easiest way to clean them is just to hit them with a hammer. These are the steps here that cut the ash off as this moves back and forth. And to eat your Wheaties and this is the easy part. Make sure you got it on the rollers the right way. Okay. Now you got to push down the back to get it before it gets to the front rollers. A little dodgy. Alright, the rest of it's going together here. I'm just going to set the brasses on here for now. These are relatively new brasses. And this is the wick oiler. And this oils the auger up where it goes in the transfer head here. So basically what it is, it's a wick, like a candle wick, in a little oil reservoir. You put like 3-in-1 oil in this thing once a month, and it wicks up here and lubricates the auger where it spins on the brass. This just screws in, and this is just a cap that screws on to the brass part here. So you unscrew the cap, which is the big long thing here, and fill it with oil once a month. And it goes on, let's see, the holes line up, goes on about like that. So we'll set that on there right now. Not that we're really finally assembling this or anything. This is more just to get the stuff all in one place. Alright, so we got the anthrostat in it. This is the one that came with that boiler over there, because I wasn't running an anthrostat. And actually, I know I have one laying around here somewhere, I don't know where, but I was using this. This is a copper pipe with a couple of fittings on it that was in that hole, and I have the same deal on that one. It's controlled by one of those 3 temperature controllers in the control box up there. Whoa, the middle one there. And it just has a probe that goes in there. So this was in there and the probe was inside it. So I'll just keep that there. And our transfer head is sitting on there, just so we don't forget where it is. Crate's in there. 3 brass nuts. This one's got the Axeman 75-year sticker on it too. Not that it's that new, just that I bought some parts in 2019, and that sticker was on the envelope, and I think I have a bag over there on the wall. It has the sticker in it. Alright, so we're rocking right along with this thing. Let's see if we can Yeah, there we go. Get this open, solenoid's on it. So that's ashing in fast motion. See, it spins the ashing gear down here. That's the main thing you're looking for, because that's hooked to the shaft, which goes through and attaches to the grate. The front end moves the grate back and forth. This actually happens much more slowly than what I just did. Alright, let me go find some more parts for this thing. I should go down and get the domestic coil and set that in there. Alright, well here's the rest of it. This is the domestic coil that came out of my original Axeman Anderson, which was a 1991, and it lived on city water all its life, so it was nice and clean inside. Not kind of gunky like this one was until we flushed it out. So I'm going to pop that in there, and that's the fan and the fan plate that goes with it. The fan was relatively new. I think it's only 2 or 3 years old. Had a problem with the fan, which was actually from another Axeman that I put in, and it had a bunch of cracks in it and started to sing to me, so I replaced it with a new one. And this is the last motor that I used on this particular Axeman. So that's on there. Well, it's just sitting there. And the bearing box and stuff is all kind of sitting on there temporarily. The rubber bushings are in really good shape. There they are. Bushings and I know I bought a new one of these things. I don't know if it's the new one or not. I'll have to figure that out. But that one's good. If not, there's another new one or a good one in the basement somewhere. Alright, let me throw this coil in here. See how that goes. Can we see that? Okay, we can see it. These things can be a little difficult to get in and out. Put it in right side up. Good. It's going to work out. I was a little worried. From what I've heard, Axeman sells this coil bump out, but they sell a different coil with it from what I've heard, and it has a different, slightly different bolt pattern, but that one looks like it'll work fine. And we have a new gasket sitting over there, so yeah, that's pretty much it. She's ready to go. This is the auger here. I just got this back from Axeman Anderson. This was another refugee from my first Axeman boiler. It's a good auger. Has a little bit of wear here. It has a pretty good end on it. And at some point in its life, somebody welded a repair end on it, but it was almost straight. So what happened when that end is in the coal and this end was in the transfer head, this end where the bearing cage is would move up and down about 1/4 of an inch, so that wasn't good. So I called Pete Axeman, at Axeman Anderson and told him about it. He said when they make them, they have a machine. It's a large press that straightens them, and they get them to within like 1,000th or something like that. So earlier this year, this is 2022, the end of 2022, earlier this year, this auger took a trip up to visit Pete Axeman, and they straightened it out. So I think that'll be a fine addition to that boiler. I believe this boiler was restored by Orbie Pepley, who's the guy that I bought that boiler from. And he restored that. And he does really good work. He actually is probably the one that came up with the extended coil flange, from what I understand. He's 93 now, so he's not restoring boilers anymore. But I got this particular boiler down the street from his place in Shippensburg. It's probably 5 miles away from where his shop is. And it has the coil flange. I was at his shop a couple months ago, and he has like a stack of those coil flanges ready to go on boilers. And so yeah, this looks like it was probably one of his babies. And all I did was, when I got it, I cleaned it up. I had to replace the cyclone cone because it had rotted away. So it's got a newish cyclone cone in it. And well, I got 3 of these things sitting here now, so I don't really need to have 3. And this one's kind of together, so I'm probably going to stick it on the coalpail.com forum for sale. I can't guarantee it or anything. I mean, I used it for 5 years, so I know it's a good boiler. But I don't do this professionally or anything, so I mean, I can't come out and service it or anything, so I got to sell it. You know, it's just like another used Axeman Anderson, so it'll be cheap. But really, I mean, I don't need it. I could use the space. Wouldn't mind having my dolly back. And that's it. Hit me up on the forum if you think you're interested in it. I'll put a link in the description to it.